Right. So let's talk again about Wes Anderson, right? Because last couple of weeks we talked about the first, or at least what I thought was the only Netflix short film that he put out. That would be
Why didn't they put this as one product? This is so annoying, eh? Why did they do this?
I
And put it as
I
separate product.
I don't know, but
Whatever.
speaking of product, right? What I feel will ultimately come out of this, right? Come out of this is this is going to be a Criterion release.
Right.
Because yeah, his films usually show up on the Criterion Collection, and rightfully so. You know what I mean, from since Rushmore till now. Yeah, I mean his stuff has been there, right? I'm not gonna say all of his films are there, but a majority of them are there. I don't think Isle of Dogs is in the no Isle of Dogs is not in the collection, but
Okay.
everything else I think. Well, at
Right.
least the more popular ones like Fantastic Mr. Fox, Royal Tenenbaums, Moonrise Kingdom, stuff like that is there, right? Even
Right.
French Dispatch hasn't made it there as yet, but I have a feeling that it will
Right.
soon enough, right? But yeah, point is, I have a feeling that all four of these are just going to be in this Blu-ray with some behind-the-scenes stuff, and like that's the whole gist of it, right? But yeah, it makes sense because why we didn't just put out all four of them one time? I mean, why not, right? But it's weird. It's weird. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we talked about the wonderful story of Henry Sugar, and I'll get this out of the
Yeah.
way. It is the best of these four films, in my opinion.
I I
In
actually
my
like
opinion.
Ratcatcher more than this one.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you say Ratcatcher, right? Because yeah, Ratcatcher for me is my second favorite, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just run through the three short films, right? The other three quickly, right? So we'll start with Ratcatcher. This one was just I don't know, boy. It's one of those things that, like, I just there watches, like, wait, Roald Dahl wrote this, or was this Wes? Boy? Because I'm wondering how much creative liberty Wes had with this. So it feels like a warped version of what Roald wrote, right? But, for all we know, that probably is the story itself, right? Ray Fiennes though is hilarious as
Yeah.
the rat catcher, right? Basically, it's just him being hired by Richard Ayoade, right? Well, he
Right.
is basically hired to kill some rats, right? That's nearby his workplace. And it's just how Ray Fiennes moves and talks though,
Yeah.
even the way how he looks as well. Like I swear, like he had buck teeth as well, like a rat. Um,
Yeah.
and
But that's the
it's
idea. The
yeah,
idea is that he slowly turned it into a rat.
yeah, and it's just how he talk about, this thing that I'm so skilled in doing this, right? There's a bit involving him showing off how he catches the rat.
Yeah.
It's like a fake, like, no, you at first off you see no rat, right? And then they show like him doing another thing, and then you actually see a rat, and then they
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
had the rat be the point of view character and all that kind of stuff. It's weird, but in but in the Wes Anderson theatrical style that he employed on Henry Sugar, though, it works so well here. It's just
Yeah.
these visual bits, though, you know what I mean? And even the way how it ends, though, just like, yeah, you know what I mean, I did the job and that's it. It's funny, right? But what I really find pretty interesting is the disclaimers at the end, right? Where they'll say, Roald Dahl came up with this idea because he knew a guy, and he wrote this thing back
Right.
then, and it was based off of something. I thought that was pretty
Right.
interesting as well, right? And just like Henry Sugar, they just have these, I don't want to say abrupt endings. They just sort of stop at a certain point, and they just like, yeah, that's it. That's the end of the story. Like, it's not
Right.
like a happy or a traditional ending, so to speak. It just sort of ends, right? That's why for me, I felt like for me the one that I enjoyed the least, even though I still enjoy it though, is Poison Boy. Like I really dug the setup of it.
Um. It only okay. So it works. It only works because of what the subtext is.
Yes, yes, yes. Where they
But
drop like near the end of the show, and I was like, oh, that's something interesting, and they
yeah.
just sort of went a little bit, and they just stopped. I like, oh, okay,
Right.
that's it, right?
So that's the only thing because the one I enjoyed the least was the one with the boy and the train. That is just
Or the
that.
Swan. All right,
Yeah. That just fall flat for me.
I like it from a technical perspective. I'll get to that
Right.
last, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
Poison had a really good setup though. Dev Patel, Dread
Yeah.
again with this fast-paced narration. I don't know how this guy does it, but he is great. Though similar to like what he did in Henry Sugar. I don't know how that guy does it. I will just rattle on, right? And he does it so well, and so is the deadpan nature of it too. How he just does it. I love that, right? And it's just him going by a friend who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and Benedict's like, "Yo, there's a snake literally."
Right.
It tucked underneath my shirt and it's on my stomach right now. I need help, right? And Dev calls Ben Kingsley, who is his doctor, and there's a thing involving race. That's all we'll see. And
So yeah, that's it. I
and
mean,
this is where it
that's the
stops.
yeah, that's the subtext. I vaguely remember reading the short story
Okay.
way back when. So it was like, oh, that's the reference. So like,
Yeah,
okay,
and this,
the real poison is
yeah, the real
blah blah
poison
blah.
is that, right? And it's just where it
Right,
stops off. It's like, oh, okay, that's where they stop it off. So okay,
right, right.
that was
So
it
that's
for me. I was
about
like,
it.
all right, well, gotta give
And
him a little
what
bit
make it
more,
more,
but
yeah, because that's the whole idea. I mean, it's just the innocuousness of the whole thing now. Is that because it's just an offhand joke, he make, and this is the person who's the professional, and for him to turn around on him on that now, it's a product. It's time and again. It's a lot of India stuff. Like
yeah,
it is it's that. So it's the white guy in India bullshit now.
mm,
So
mm.
it's all of that. So
Yeah,
that's where I pulled from it. So that's
right.
about it.
Yeah. Again, similar to the Ratcatcher, it's a fake sneak, and it's just how Benedict plays with that though is so funny, right? It's just the physical humor that works, right?
Yeah.
Lastly, the Swan. While it's not the best story in this four-story anthology, though, I do really enjoy the execution of it, right? For one
Yeah.
thing, yeah, Rupert Friend, right? Playing the lead, right? And
Yeah.
it's like I'll just read it up here. Roman Coppola actually was the cinematographer for
Okay.
this, right? Yeah, and
Okay.
it's just technically I was just amazed at what they were doing, right? This one really feels the most like a stage play, right? Because you have
Right.
Rupert pretty much speaking for three characters, right? And it's just about these two older kids, basically assholes. Sorry that they are,
Yeah.
and they're just picking on this poor kid with
Right.
this spectacled kid, and and they have guns, and they tie him up on a train track, and it pretty much ends with them tying like getting swan feathers and making like artificial wings for him, and forcing him to jump off, i.e. fly off of a tree, right? And we're not gonna see how it
Yeah.
ends here, right? But it's just visually and just how the camera moves. That had me going, right. There's a bit involving Rupert, sorry, and there's a moment where he's lying on the track, right. So there's this bit where the camera tilts, right. So it looks like he, instead of looking upwards, he's looking left, right. And then like afterwards he lifts his head, and then the next shot is like from in front of his legs, right. But
Right.
like it's almost like like when you're editing, for example, like when the person lifts his head, you want to move in time with that. So like once you cut to the next shot, his head would have just leaned just a couple bits again, and that'll be it. But where they start from now is like literally he do the lean from where his head was to upward again, and I like that. It's almost like like intentionally. Oh, we kind of flubbed this edit, like that. And even
Right.
all three, well, actually in all three, right, you see these stage hands, or actually in all four episodes, right, you see this stage hand will show up and will push somebody or will
Right.
move a prop or whatever.
Yeah.
They do that
Yeah.
so well in the Swan though. Like there's actually the kid himself. Well, actually that is the only, well, that's the only of the three boys, he's the most prominent. He's actually helping out Rupert, right? While Rupert is doing the narration, but he's also playing the kid as well, right? And I like that, right?
Yeah.
There's almost a point like, oh, this is my son, and he kind of not to do so. Hey, hold this, son, move this over here and open this door and do that kind of stuff. So he kind of helping Rupert along the way, but he kind of inexperienced, you know what I mean? So I like those little like meta. Well, I don't want to say meta, but kind of self-aware moments in it too, right? Again, it's like you're seeing a stage play, and these characters are doing this for the first time, so everybody kind of moving kind of awkwardly. You know what I mean? With the only thing that moves kind of professionally being the camera, like that
Right.
is the most professional moving thing out of all of this, right? But where the story stops is like, oh, that's it, okay. But I was actually surprised with the disclaimer that was actually based on true events. Like, okay,
Right.
well, like, wow, like
Yeah.
that real grimy though. Like again, it's just too like just assholes, right? Just picking
Yeah.
on this kid for no reason. But I wouldn't lie, I kind of came out of it like, was he point of it? But I guess
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
kind
This
of to
one.
show just how dark the world is, and that's why I
Right.
compare it to the Swan, because yeah, there is a Swan, an actual Swan that's involved in it, but I'm not gonna see what happened there. So I guess that's the point. I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
that's supposed to be the darkest out of all of them, even though in a way Poison is supposed to be. But I felt Swan was more dark, right? But that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, while I did not enjoy those three as much as Henry Sugar, I still appreciate them for what they are, man. And just in closing, I do know for sure that they like the way how they put together. I have a feeling that they are just going to be part of this Criterion release, right? You get
Right.
all four in one disc, and you get your bonus features and whatnot. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's really what the point of all this is, right? Um, but yeah, for what it is,
I just find it
I
weird.
appreciate them. Like I don't love them as
Yeah.
much as Henry Sugar, but I really do enjoy them. Right? Again, for me, as far as ranking goes, it would be Henry Sugar first, then Ratcatcher, then Swan, and then Poison. Right?
Right.
As a whole, as a complete package, because I get a ticket about Criterion release. I'll get this just a strong 3.5 to light 4, man. It's worth checking out. Definitely worth check. Actually, come to think of it, I'll actually give it a light 4 because I really enjoyed Henry Sugar. Right. This is for the Wes Anderson fans. Right. This is clearly for them. They will love every minute of it. Just from the technical aspects of it, the execution, the deadpan, acting and performances and whatnot. And of course, just the exquisite
Yeah.
cinematography and set design. Right. It looks, all of them look gorgeous. All of them do, right?
Yeah.
For non-Wes Anderson fans, or I should say those who just kind of find his style to be too gimmicky, yeah, they probably wouldn't care for any one of these, right? But I would say if you're a non-fan, though, this would make for a pretty interesting entry point into his work, though. But I would recommend checking out his other films, right? Whether it's Royal Tenenbaums or even earlier on like Rushmore, to really appreciate stuff like this, right? But yeah, it's on Netflix right now, and again, I know for sure it's gonna get a Criterion release in the near future, man. But yeah, I mean, check it out. Check it out. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, well, it's not, right? But yeah, Ricardo, you could run through Ratcatcher, Poison, and Swan, and just give your overall view on the all four films.
Yeah, no, I enjoy all of them for what they are and what they do. But as I said, my least favorite was Swan. Ratcatcher was probably my favorite. In fact, I enjoy Ratcatcher more than I did what do I call him, Henry Sugar. And yeah, they just come together really well, and I sort of gonna appreciate them for what they are. And yeah, the only thing that just annoying to me is, yeah, why they didn't just put this as one product. I was just like, we had to look for them, or they had to. So I don't know if they came out at the same time or anything like that. Because in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, we could have review all of this at once. That, I don't know. It was weird. So that's about it. But I dug all of these for what they are. They work for the most part. And yeah, I can't be mad at any of them. They're pretty good.
So, what
Yeah.
would you rate them, man? What would you give,
Uh,
the whole
yeah.
package, if you will?
Overall, I don't know. Yeah, pretty high rated for all of them. I gave Henrik Sugar a pretty high score. I remembered. But yeah, the only one that didn't work for me was Swan, because it really felt like it was relying on the whole gimmick of it for the most part. That's the way it felt like, at least. Um, but it cut together really well, and it relied on the whole stage nature of it, which I was not a fan of, in terms of characters walking in the frame, and this is what you're doing for the bit, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's about it. But yeah, rating overall, I'll probably give it overall like a 8 out of 10. But nines and sevens to average them out. As I said, I just really wish they cut this together better. But that's about it.